Namaste. Welcome to the series of talks on Hastha Yoga, that is, yoga through hands. We have had so far 8 talks in this series, and we began with examining the differences between kriyas and bandhas and asanas and mudras. The speaker has shown the subtle differences between all these 4 elements. These 4 aspects are crucial in Hatha Yoga. Hatha Yoga is nothing but not only mastering the body through asanas and pranayama, but also the hands. The hands are vital. As the speaker has already pointed out, that all the points and the palm and fingers are connected to the vital organs of our human body. Therefore, taking care of these hands or manipulating the hands, um, we can control and rectify the disorders of various vital parts of our human body. In the previous talk, talk number 8, we have learned the 5 fingers and their associations with various elements, koshas, chakras, and planets. In this talk number 9, we shall examine the vital organs. The palm represents reflex zones which correspond to the foot reflex zones. So let's examine the parts um, that are connected to the vital points in the palm. Let's take the thumb. The upper part. The upper part of the thumb is related to pineal gland, pituitary gland, and brain. The upper part of the thumb is related to the brain. To keep it in mind, that this upper part. So while pressing the thumb, you can activate the 2 important glands in the brain, namely pituitary gland and pineal gland. Also, by pressing this upper part of the thumb like this, we can activate the brain cells. We can activate the energy in the brain cells. So our brain cells will become very active, and mind, as a result, will also be very focused as we press the upper part of the thumb. So the upper part of the thumb is very important. You can take a small uh, wooden block, and then you can press it here. If you can't do it with your fingers, you can press it. Um, or you can even take a pencil, uh, not the sharp part of the pencil, but the other end of the pencil can be used to press it so that the brain will become active. But do not do this immediately after taking food. This will create some disorders in the body. So there should be a minimum uh, a gap of say 3 hours after taking food. You can massage the palms and hand and the fingers. So we have learned the thumb, its importance, its connection to the brain, the upper part of the thumb up to this point, right? Now, the lower part of the thumb is related to the head and neck. The lower part, this part, is related to the head and neck. So you can activate the muscles, tissues, and cells in the neck and the head by pressing here, this lower part of the thumb. Similarly, the wedge, this is the wedge, right? The shape, this. From this wedge down to the wrist, down to the wrist, down to the wrist is related to throat, thyroid, pancreas, bladder, lumbar, and uterus. So from this point to down this. In fact, you can even take this mount and especially in the morning as you get up, those people who suffer from constipation, indigestion, those who cannot attend to the calls of nature regularly, hmm, as they get up in the morning, take 1 or 2 glasses of water and then press this mount from the wedge to this entire part using the thumb, the left hand thumb. Similarly, using the right thumb, pressing the left palm, starting from the wedge down to the wrist. As you press, the intestines will get activated, the kidneys will get activated, the bladder will get activated. So immediately you will get the symptoms of attending the calls of nature. So immediately you rush to the toilet. So that is the importance of this particular point on the palm. So keep this point. After taking water in the early mornings, you can press this zone, this entire zone, using the thumb. So immediately the muscles, the tissue cells in the stomach, bladder, um, kidneys get activated, and then immediately you get the pain around the pelvic muscles, and you feel like attending the calls of nature immediately. So that is how it works out. Now, um, the edge of the thumb, the edge of the thumb is related to the spinal um, cord, the spinal column. Sometimes you can use even this particular part. You can even press the spinal cord. The spleen also gets, but mostly they use the edge of the thumb is used. It is related to the spinal column. The base or web, the base or web. This is the web, the base or the web mm, of the middle finger, the base of um, the base or The web of the middle and ring finger is related to chest, lungs, bronchial tubes, adrenal glands, kidneys and intestines, and so on. So this is the base of the middle finger and the ring finger, this particular base. And the base or web of the little finger, this is the base of the little finger, down to the wrist, down to the wrist is related to arms, shoulders, heart, spleen, hips, and thighs. So these are the parts that are connected to these particular points from the web of the little finger down to the wrist. Now, when so this is related to arms, shoulders, heart, spleen, hips, and thighs. Now, the portion below the index finger, this is the index finger. The portion below the index finger is related to stomach. They already noted that point here. Now, the portion from the tips of the index finger, this is the tip of the index finger, and the middle finger to their base, to their base. This, see, this, and this. The middle finger. That is the portion of the from the tip of the index finger and middle finger to their base is related to the eyes. So any disorder in the eyes, you can press from this from middle. Use the middle finger from the tip of the middle finger down to the base. Similarly, from the tip of the index finger down to the base. So this, keep this, and I repeat this in index finger and the middle finger. The tip from the tip of the index finger down to the base, and from the tip of the middle finger down to the base. These are related to the eyes. Any disorders in the eyes can be rectified by pressing this part. And the portion from the of the little finger, tip of the little finger down to the base, and tip of the ring finger down to the base, to their base, is related to ears. Ear. Any disorder in the ear, you can press these points. So these two fingers, namely the index finger and the middle finger, are related to the eyes, whereas the little finger and the ring finger are related to the ears. So these are the vital parts and their connections to the points on the palm. Uh, so in this talk number 9, we have learned the palm, how this palm represents various vital organs of the human body. In other words, this palm represents the reflex zones, which also correspond to the reflex zones of the foot. So the same points you can locate in the foot. So the reflex zones of the palm and the reflex zones of the foot are the same. There are no differences. The same points you can see in the foot also. And if you press those points in the foot, the vital organs in the body can be activated. the disorders can be rectified. So in this talk we have learned the vital organs, their connection to the various points in the palm, both right palm and the left palm. So when we meet in our next video, the speaker will show some preparatory exercises before we move to the mudras, because the fingers and the palms must be made flexible. If your fingers and the palms, right, are flexible, it indicates that the whole of your body is active. The whole of your body is flexible. If the hands are stiff, then your body is stiff. This is the connection between the hand, the right hand palm and the left hand palm to the vital organs of the body. So flexibility in the fingers and the palms and the hands. You see how I'm making my fingers so easily flexible, bending, right, right. See, this kind mm, of flexibility in the hands is an indication that you are healthy, that there are no disorders, and the whole of your body is as flexible as the movement of these fingers and hands. So this is the connection. Therefore, when we meet in our next video, the speaker will show you some preparatory exercises so as to make this palm, this hand and fingers and palm active and flexible, so that we can move to performing the mudras. So mudras can be done very easily. So thank you very much. Namaste.